Here's the truth, competitor. It doesn't matter if you start slow, but it does matter that you get started. Your mindset has to be stronger than your feelings if you want to succeed.
Do what you can until you get to do what you want.
You don't need perfect conditions in order to succeed. You don't need a better time. What you need to do is start taking action. Now, here's the truth. It doesn't matter if you start slow. It doesn't matter if you start sloppy, if you start ugly. If you can't do the thing you want to do when you get going, the real question is, will you still get going? Because too often in society, we're making the excuse that our start, that our current position, that where we are right now is not good enough for where we're trying to go. And we're right. If where we're trying to go is somewhere far in the future, it's ahead of us, it's down the line, it's at a different level than we're at now, then of course we're not ready for it. But are we doing the work to prepare for it? That's the key. It's not, have you not reached your full potential? It's, are you working every day to find it, to reach it, to become your best self? It doesn't matter if you start slow. What can you change in your daily routines or your environment to speed up success? Doesn't matter if you don't know what you're doing every single step of the way. What are you doing to get online, use Google, hire a coach who can help you point those dots, get connected, and get moving? Do you have the guts to play the long game, that thing that most of society doesn't do because they want it quick and immediate, like their Amazon Prime delivery, their DoorDash meal for the day? Most of society is in a rush because they've fallen into this lie of what they see on this little device here on social media, that everything's supposed to be quick, instantaneous, that if you struggle, if you start sloppy, if you start slow, that you just can't do it. And that's a lie. And that's the lie that most of society is listening to, because they're believing the lie that if they're not perfect right now, if they're not seasoned or skilled at that thing that they want, it's not worth going after because, well, everybody else who's good at it just is naturally good at it. But that's not the truth. Most people, when they start in sales, those people you see in your office that are really, really good, they weren't really good when they started. They just put in the reps. They got coached up by their manager. They were intentional with every conversation they have. Us speakers, I love when I walk off the stage and people think, oh, you must have this natural ability to do what you do. I laugh and say, do you know how many hours I've practiced right here in this office, dogs right at my feet snoring, which you probably heard early on this episode, practicing stories, practicing reps, working on how to teach and tell from stage. It's not that I'm naturally gifted. It's that I work really damn hard at what I'm passionate about. My first talks, awful. I was stumbling around Texas Children's Hospital down in Houston, Texas. I had a backwards baseball cap on, had a t-shirt on, had no idea what I was doing. I mumbled and stumbled. I had some ums and ahs, and I somehow got through it. But the best thing that ever happened to me was after that talk, when Linda Aldred pulled me aside and said, you need to go do more of this. And I don't know if you've thought about it, but there's something here. See, that conversation, even though at the time I didn't act on it, changed my life. Because about a year and a half later, I got to see a guy named Michael Port teaching speakers on how to be better storytellers. And I thought, if this is something I need to do, this is the guy I need to learn from. So I invested in him and his team. I spent months traveling to Philadelphia for days at a time in what they call grad school. From start of the day to end of the day, practicing everything from writing a story to working the stage to even how you take pauses and use your breath. I spent all of these hours. And even once I got all the way through that program and I gave my first talk, it was still pretty ugly. In fact, every time I step on the stage right now, I walk off and have notes of, I want to do this better. I need to do that better. And then I go back and start practicing putting in more reps because I firmly believe my best is yet to come. I firmly believe that the work I'm doing right now, even though it may appear great to some people, to me it's still sloppy because it's not where I want to be. So I keep putting in the work to get there. And that's got to be your mentality too. It doesn't matter if you're really good at that one thing you love doing, if you're really good at that skill, if you're standing out above your company, do you still have the mindset that better is still ahead? And I'm going to show up every day and work at it. See, to embrace that mentality, you don't really care where your starting position is because you're just focused every single day on getting better. While most people only focus on how good they look right now. They're focused on trying to look perfect and all together and that they never fail and that they've got it all figured out. And in reality, they have nothing figured out because they're not taking action and they're not getting better because they're not doing anything. But not competitors. And certainly, hopefully, not you. The only way you're going to get better is to put in the work now. It's to take that ugly step. It's to get started slow, sloppy, when, man, you don't want anybody to see you putting in this work, but you got to do it. And then you got to do it again tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. And eventually you're going to look up and you're pretty good at that one thing you used to suck at. But the only way you're going to get good is to get through the suck. And the only way you're going to get through the suck is if you get started. So today, what's the one thing you're telling yourself that you're going to start later in the future, one day, when you're more prepared, you're more confident, when you've got better skills? And stop telling yourself that you're going to get to it one day. Draw a line in the sand and make today your day one. The only way you can become great is first you got to become good. And the only way you get to good is you got to get through the suck. And the only way you get through the suck is to get started. So today, competitor. It could be making sales calls. It could be speaking on stages. It could be journaling. It could be practicing gratitude. It could be lifting a barbell in your garage. Whatever it is that you, quote, suck at right now and you don't want to do because you're not very good at it, I'm going to challenge you to get started. Work through the suck. Become average. Become good. And one day you're going to become great. And everybody's going to want to know how you became great. And you're going to be able to point back and show them every single day you put in reps to get better. And guess what? Most people won't put in that same amount of reps. So you've already created yourself a competitive advantage in life by simply being willing to consistently do the work when you're not very good at something so that you can become great at it. Go be great today, competitor. Go win your day. You know I'm cheering for you.